All right, let's jump into this one where we're going to look at composition of functions. And you read this f of f, not f of f, f of x, and then g of x. And so it's just the function of x, the function of that's happening here. So this is f of g of 2, which sounds funny. I know it's just the notation that's used. This is the way it's written. And so essentially what you do is whatever letter you're starting with, that's what you're going to put first. So this is equal to negative x plus 2. Now we have to combine these together. So we're going to put g of 2 where x was. So see, think about this was f of x, but now it says f of g of 2. So x needs to get substituted. So I'm just going to put a big parentheses there, blank, I guess we could think of it as, and put plus 2. So I brought down the negative, I put a parentheses for the x, and then I brought down the plus 2. Now what goes in place of x is g of 2. Well, let's go over here to g of x. So for g of x, it says that is equal to 4x minus 1. So I'm going to plug in 4x minus 1. Well, we have to continue to combine because this doesn't just say g of x, it now says g of 2. And so the x again has been replaced, this time with a 2. So I'm going to bring everything down again, but where x is, I'm going to put another parentheses. And I'm going to replace it with 2 because that's what it says in this problem. If it hits at f of g of 3, then I would put a 3 there. Or f of g of negative 7, I would put a negative 7 there. All right. At this point, we are simplifying this. So we're going to, use order of operations and see what we can do here. So inside of this parentheses, we have this other parentheses. 4 times 2 is 8. So we have negative 8 minus 1 plus 2. And then inside here, 8 minus 1 is 7. And then we can say, well, this is the opposite of 7. So that's a negative 7. And then negative 7 plus 2 is negative 5. So for these two functions, f of g of 2 is equal to negative 5. All right. So if you want, you can pause and try the next one and then come back and see how you do. We're going to do g of f of 2. Okay, so this time it starts with a g. So I'm going to start where it says g of x is 4x minus 1. But it's not g of x, it's g of f of 2. So I'm going to replace the x with a parentheses. And in that spot, I'm going to put what f of x equals. It's negative x plus 2. All right. And now it doesn't say g of f of x, it says g of f of 2. So now I have to replace that x with the 2. So notice I've copied everything down except the x. The x gets replaced with parentheses, and that shows me, that gives me a placeholder for what I'm going to substitute or plug in. And so the x, instead of f of x, it says f of 2. So the x equals 2 there. All right, at this point, we're ready to simplify with order of operations. So I've got parentheses and then another parentheses here. So the opposite of 2 is a negative 2. So we've got 4 parentheses, negative 2 plus 2 minus 1. All right, now we're going to do this parentheses. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So we have 4 times 0 minus 1. And now we can say, well, 4 times 0 is 0, and 0 minus 1 is negative 1. So g of f of 2 is negative 1, while f of g of 2 is negative 5. All right, I hope that helps.